Okay.
So I'm here with legendary Brooklyn MC Masta Ace. What's good with you today, man?
How you feeling, man? I'm good, brother.
Man, I feel excellent, man. You started off on the legendary Cold Chillin Records, and you're on the song "The Symphony." What was it like being around Marley, Cool G Rap, and Kane in those early days?
I mean, it was a great time. It definitely was an inspiring time. Being around so many talented MCs, artists. It definitely made me realize that I needed to make sure that my pen game was on point. Being around these guys because they were rapping at such a high level and putting out great songs. So, if anything, it helped me sharpen my sword in terms of going forward as an artist. After I left Coach Young.
Man, that's all dope, bro. I see you got the Disposable Arts, Cap.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Should definitely be in everyone's playlist and stuff, everything, man. This is the 25th anniversary of Sittin On Chrome, your third album, which had a lot of commercial success with songs such as Born to Roll, which is a West Coast anthem. Do you feel that created a conflict in your branding at the time of you being viewed as an East Coast artist?
The conflict was really with the New York audience because they didn't really understand, what I was doing. They didn't really understand what I was doing in New York, and they, at the time there was very much this East Coast versus West Coast sentiment around the industry, and so it sort of became, a pick a side kind of scenario, and I was not picking a side. I was just making music. That's how I looked at it anyway. I was making music that could appeal to, New Yorkers and people out in LA. And so I started putting out records that were appealing more to audiences in Los Angeles. And New York was kind of like, oh, you with them now. You're not with us no more. You with them. So that was really the big thing. And there was a lot of, talk floating around about me and, different terms, being used to describe, what I was doing and what I had done. And it turned some people off on the East Coast, but at the same time, it actually expanded my career. I got a lot more fans that didn't know who I was that started to follow my music. And I picked up more fans along the way, as far as I'm concerned.
Man, I definitely consider you a legendary hip hop artist, man. You have an amazing catalog of music, and one of my favorite albums is Disposable Arts. And you have this incredible diss record named Acknowledge against High and Mighty and the Boogeyman. I always wonder what led up to you recording the song.
So there was a few things that were happening while I was making that album. I was hearing like little digs. Um, different rappers were saying little stuff, on the radio or interviews. I kind of, I can't remember the rapper. It was some rapper that was freestyling on one of the underground stations, and he was just going off the head. And his punchline was something like, something about you gonna fall off like Masta Ace or something like that. And at that moment, I realized that if I didn't do something, I could become a punchline in this whole thing, and I refused to be a punchline. So the best thing to do was to just go on the offensive. I would say like the most notable people that, or I won't even say notable, people knew who High and Mighty was because they had a deal and they dropped albums and stuff. But there was a comment made at one of their shows. It wasn't even by them, actually. It was by another MC that was on stage with them. But I wasn't at the event, and people that were there, they didn't know that guy that was on stage wasn't part of High and Mighty. They just thought, he's on there with them. So that's who made the comment. And the comment, turned out that the comment actually wasn't a diss, but it was, my name was mentioned in a line. It sounded like a diss. The crowd kind of said, ooh. So, the people that were there came back like, yo, High and Mighty dissed you. And the Boogeyman dude, he was really an unknown, but he dropped a record about me called Just You Wait. And he dropped the record because he had a song on Fat Beats called, it was called Ghetto Life or something like that. Something had the word ghetto in it, his song title. and then I dropped a song on Fat Beats called Ghetto Like. So he thought that I was basically trying to hijack his concept or his record or his idea. So he made a whole song about me. And so those were kind of like the two things that were prominent at that moment. There were other people saying little stuff here and there. But I just reached a point where I was like, enough is enough. I need to address a few cats and let dudes know that I'm not going to be the one that they just slick out the side of their mouth with. So I just came with some lyrics, about those guys, and it kind of put everybody else on warning. I don't think anybody's spit no lines about me since that time.
Yeah, I definitely, man. That's a great diss song, and you've been in the game, man, for like 30 years. How have you been able to focus on the craft and avoid controversy?
Cause what you just said, I focus on the craft. I focus on song making, songwriting, putting together music that, I believe fans are gonna, just gonna speak to fans and, inspire people in different ways, evoke some sort of emotion. I focus on the music. I don't focus on rappers, on other artists, other MCs. Those people are not my focus, because that's not who I'm making records for. I'm not making records for your favorite rapper. I don't care if your favorite rapper likes my songs or not. It's more about the fans who don't make records, that just want music they can chill to, clean up the house to, drive to, or just chill out, sit on the porch, on a sunny day, and they can get an experience, an audio experience with the headphones on, and just go into a place, like travel someplace with it. So I try to really just transport fans with my albums and the concepts and the music and the stories and the the skits and all of that. Take people on a journey somewhere.
Man, that's incredible, man. The follow-up to Disposable Arts was the Long Hot Summer album, and you have this song Beautiful where you rap, "I see a black man aiming his gun, but I'd rather see a black man claiming his son." How do communities help young men in our most neglected and vulnerable places find the people and activities that will nurture their natural talent and abilities?
I just think we need more mentors. One of the things that I did back in 2002, right after Disposable came out, was I started working at a high school in Brooklyn, and I became a football coach. And the sport was really not the main thing that I did when I was there. What I did was I mentored and shaped the minds of young men that were coming in front of me by speaking to them, talking to them, trying to make them better people, and so that when they got further in life, as they became adults, that they would have a little sense of what it meant to be a man, and what was cool and what wasn't cool, what was acceptable, what wasn't. And so I was at that school for 9 years, mentoring young men. Talking about 9 generations of young men that I was able to be around, talk to. One of my big things was them using the N word, and that's like that's like part of their common speech.
Right.
When they just talk to each other, it just rolls right off the tongue. It's just like regular conversation. And so, I had a rule just with the guys that whenever they were around me, that they needed to watch their mouths. And N-word was definitely a no, but just any curse word, really. Like I didn't let them curse around me. And so, and I explained to them, I said, it's not that I curse in my regular life, but you'll never hear me curse. That means that I know how to edit myself, and I need you guys to learn how to edit yourselves. You're going to speak a certain way in the locker room when there's no coaches around, and you need to know how to edit yourself so that you're not speaking like you're in the locker room when you're on a public bus around older people. You need to know how to edit yourself. And so I drilled that into the guys that came around me for all those years. And we had a rule, if they made a mistake and cursed around me, they knew that they were going to get a little smack in the back of the head. Nothing like vicious, just like they would like literally take their hat off and go, "Okay, coach, you got me," and let me smack them in the back of the head, because they knew. But that was the important thing, was that I got a lot of those guys to begin to hear themselves. And a lot of them, they weren't hearing themselves. They were just speaking regular street vernacular with no concept of people that were around them and how certain things were appropriate and certain things weren't. So they'll be walking through the hall around teachers, principals, vice principals, just cursing, yeah, my nigga, this and that. And so what I was trying to really do was teach them how to edit themselves, how to be accountable for their words, and to be aware of their surroundings and, display appropriate behavior at the appropriate times.
Man, that's I salute you, man. Like for your work in community, that's really important and stuff. And your most recent album, Breukelen Story, was critically received, and it sparked a lot of arguments online about who's the best MC for Brooklyn. And I was wondering, who are some of your favorite MCs from Brooklyn?
Oh, I got a bunch, man. I got a bunch. I'll give you five or six. Big Daddy Kane, Notorious B.I.G., Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes. Man. There's a bunch more, man. I did a top five one day recently. I'm trying to remember so I did Kane, I did Big, I did Jay, I did Busta. That was 4 of my 5. Who was my 5th one? Who am I forgetting? I mean, definitely, I definitely got to give, honorable mentions to Mos Def, to Talib, Kweli. But they weren't in that top 5 though. I'm just trying to think who that 5th artist was that I listed. Who am I forgetting?
What about AZ? He's no.
AZ's dope. AZ's dope. He wasn't one of those top 5. I'm just trying to remember who my 5 was. I gave you 4, right?
Yeah.
Who am I forgetting? I'm bugging right now. I gave you 4. Dang, I can't remember who my 5th of my 5 were. But honorable mentions to Buckshot Shorty, to J. Rue the Damager, to Sean Price. I think Sean Price was my 5th.
Okay.
Sean Price might have been my 5th. Definitely honorable mentions to Tech and Steel from Smith and Wesson. Just cast that just Quran, man, just could spit.
Yeah. Man, Eminem has previously cited you as an inspiration, with a lot of fans seeing the similarities between your delivery. You've always been pretty humble about that in the past. Some people would even say there's a similar style between you and Royce the 5'9". Are there any current MCs that you kind of listen to and maybe wonder if they kind of were influenced, so to speak? And do you feel in a way that's like homage? Do you feel that's disrespectful in a way?
No, I don't feel it's disrespectful, because I feel like we all influence each other.
Yeah.
As much as M said I influenced him, he influenced me as well. When he came out with the type of wordplay that he was messing with, and the stuff that he was saying, like just the really outrageous stuff that he was saying, but the way he was putting the words together, he raised the bar and made MCs go, oh, I gotta write real intricate. Like, this guy's rhyming. Because we started to believe that fans couldn't follow real intricate raps. And we started to kind of water our stuff down. I say we, I mean me, on my Sittin On Chrome album, I was a lot less technical with my rhyming style. I was a little more simple, because I thought that we were in the era where fans wanted to sing along and know all the words. And if I got too complicated, they wouldn't. But once Eminem came out, he proved that you could be as complicated and intricate as you want. Fans was going to still learn the words and rhyme along with it. So there was no rules after he dropped. So he had an influence. I mean, there's a lot of different dudes that are out there that, like I said, we all influence each other. So it's not fair for me to say, oh, I influenced this person or that person, because, if they're dope, I'll listen to them, and something they said might have sparked something in me. Sometimes I'll hear one line that a rapper said, one line, and I'll be like, that's actually a dope song idea. And then I'll just start pursuing a song idea based on one line I heard another rapper say. That's the give and take of creativity in hip hop.
Man, that's incredible, man. So we're dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. It's disproportionately affecting minority communities, and I was wondering if you had any thoughts on the coronavirus crisis.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts, man. It's unfortunate that it's disproportionately affecting the Black community and the Black and brown community, but we all know that that's because we have disproportionately worse access to medical care, to healthy food options. Most of us live in food deserts, and so for that reason, a lot of us are suffering from diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, um, you know, many other, autoimmune diseases that put us at greater risk to be sick if we catch this disease, and the disease to be a lot more aggressive with our systems. Our immune systems are poor. Most of us, eat a high acidic diet as opposed to alkaline diet. A lot of fried foods, a lot of carbs. I'm always amazed when I'm in the hood somewhere, whether it's, I live in Jersey now, whether I'm riding through Newark or East Orange, or if I'm in Brooklyn driving through Brownsville, Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene, and I'm seeing kids that are, in grade school, that are in sixth grade, and they look like they already weigh 200 pounds. And I know that that's because whoever's feeding them at home is probably, grossly overweight and feeding them the same food that they ate to get in the condition that they were in. But now we're seeing a lot more childhood obesity, particularly among our young people. And so all of those things, heart disease, all of those things lead us down a path to being disproportionately affected by something like the coronavirus. And I just, I try to use my social media platforms to try to promote the idea of healthy eating, healthy living, exercising, and trying to teach little bits and pieces of, what you should be eating. Or, I live a plant-based lifestyle now. I stopped eating fish in December. That was my final step to going to a fully plant-based diet lifestyle. And I just wish that, I wish that more of our people could have access to the right foods, the right information. It's not, foods is one thing, but then a lot of them just don't have the access to the information. They don't know, like the stuff I'm saying to you right now, many have never heard before. They didn't know that you shouldn't be eating Popeyes 3 times a week, eating that fast food 4 days a week out of your life. And so a lot of it is just about information. And, I was talking to a friend of mine, my guy, Coach V. Vernus, he lives out in Canada. And we were just talking about trying to come up with some kind of a program that we could implement in the neighborhoods where I'm from, where, we could have a workshop or something where we kind of teach people about eating healthy, teach people about shopping healthy. Because a lot of people believe that, if you got to buy something healthy, it's going to cost more than if you buy the cheap option. And in some cases, that is true. It's more expensive to eat healthy, and not in all cases. A lot of times, to buy just some fruits and vegetables will be a lot cheaper and last longer and be better for you than going to, the Chinese food restaurant and getting some pork fried rice and fried chicken wings. And so, we were talking about just trying to implement something in the hood like that, like a workshop, a health workshop, because it's needed. It's needed in these communities. People really don't have access to the information. All they know is the doctor said take this pill, and they don't know all they're doing is taking a pill. Insurance company is paying the big pharma to keep on, filling that prescription, and you're taking it. It's doing all the side effects for you when you could actually change that ailment. You could reverse your type 2 diabetes or your hypertension by just changing your diet with food. And so, yeah, those are my feelings, man. A lot less of us a lot more of us could be alive had we, had the information and been able to already know to eat a certain way. Some of us just aren't willing either to make the sacrifice of eating something different to extend your life. A lot of people, you tell them, yo, if you stop eating meat, I'm just picking one thing. You stop eating meat, it's going to extend your life by 20 years. And a lot of people won't sign up for that. They'll literally say, nah, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm doctor. So what? If I die at 50 instead of 70, I don't care. It's amazing to me, that people could have the information and not sign up for it. But all I can do is, try to do my part best I can with trying to influence and help people that want to be helped.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you're doing a good job. I've been following your Instagram and seeing like the healthy meals and stuff that you post. And what's next as far as upcoming projects?
So me and Marco Polo going to try to do a reboot and go one more again. He's been doing his part. He's already probably picked out about 10 or 12 beats that I like, that I love. But I just haven't written to him yet. So I'll be taking my time. You know, I don't write until I'm inspired to write.
Okay.
So the beats are there. I listen to them here now and then, but something has to inspire me. And once I get that spark where I kind of know where I'm going with the messages and the lyrics and the words and the song concepts, then I'm off and running. But in the meantime, I have those beats, you know, in my Dropbox, and they're waiting for me. He's continuing to send me beats. He sends me a couple beats a week to make a decision on. So that's the one project, and then the next project is I'm writing a musical, hip hop musical, for the stage, and I'm already at the stage, at the point of writing the songs for the musical. I have a script. It's not a final script. It's just a, you know, I have the first rough of the script. We actually had a table read in I want to say it was in early March, or end of February. We had a table read where a bunch of actors came in, sat down, read the script from beginning to end, and so we could just hear what it sounded like. And then now I'm at the point where I go back and I start, you know, editing, shortening, making changes, adjusting. It's a process. You know, I've been working on this for almost 2 years now, and I probably would be working on it for roughly another year of songwriting and script writing, just to get the script to the point where it needs to be. And then at that point, we'll go to the next step. But those are the two kind of main projects that are on the top of my list.
Man, that's incredible, Masta Ace. Thank you so much for taking the time. I look forward to seeing, the finished version of that, and listening to more music. Man, I've listened to you for years, and you're a legend, man. And it really means a lot that you took the time and stuff, man.
Of course, man. I appreciate you, you know, just wanting to talk to me. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing the final edit when you put it out there. Just definitely tag me on it.
I definitely will, man. Thank you so much.
Take care, bro.
You too.